22 years old and I have about $100,000 worth of debt.
I have $78,327 in student loans.
But why did nobody tell me how scary debt actually is?
I'm Morgan and I'm $80,000 in debt, and that doesn't include my mortgage.
There are so many young adults who are in debt. It's crazy. Like, the amount of us who are in debt is insane.
These student loans, like the calls, are really making me regret ever going to college, considering I'm not even doing anything in my degree.
Debt as a young person is super scary, and I don't even think they quite understand how scary it is. Whether you blame the school system or parenting, that so many young people out there just don't know the problem of this debt burden they've gotten at a young age. And it is astonishing how much money these young people owe these days between student loans, credit cards, moving from place to place. We see 1 in 5 young people and some type of delinquency credit problem. 42% of young people are saying they're in some type of burden in a financial situation. I mean, I did an entire chart in like 5 minutes of the financial burden that they have from the time they're 18 to the time they get married, to the time they buy a house, to the time they retire. Let's get into this. This is gonna be very interesting. Some of this is really wild.
I feel like because we're a little bit older, we can finally have a conversation about this. But why did nobody tell me how scary debt actually is? Like credit card debt, student loan debt, that is actually terrifying. Like people will be under the age of 25 with over $70,000 in credit card debt alone. Oh yeah, come with me to sell my house so we can get out of credit card debt. That is baffling. It makes me realize how much the education system really did fail us as a whole. Like they're sitting here teaching us the Pythagorean theorem whole time. I've still yet to use it. I'm still waiting. When I didn't know how to file my taxes since last year. Mind you, I'm 22. Hell, I don't even know how to change my oil. I just learned to check my oil last year. I am 22. Again, 22. Mind you, okay, that's a whole different reason why I didn't learn that shit. Don't eat me up. But even student loan debt is scary. Like people are going away to college, and mind you, I'm not shitting on nobody who went away to college and had a time in their life. You know, you found yourself. You know, it's your first time being by yourself and away from your family. I support going away to college. But they don't tell you that the amount of debt you are going to be in when you come back and you graduate and you get that degree, if you did not go there with a full ride scholarship.
Comment down below if when you graduated from college, if you graduated from college, did you understand the debt you were getting yourself into? Did anybody explain it to you? Did your guidance counselor explain it to you? I've talked about this in many of the videos I've made in the past on student loans, but I feel like some of these kids are set up for failure. They're like, sign here, here, and here. Congratulations, 8% the rest of your life. It's non-bankruptable. They can garnish your wages now, and they can even take your Social Security check. Like, that's wild. Never take on a non-bankruptable debt. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. I say it over and over again till the cows come home. Don't do it. Unless you're doing it for something that you know for a fact you're going to get a return on that capital. If not, bad deal. It's not in the cards.
When you come back, that debt is your ass. And they hound you. And they call you. They send you all my types of emails. They start even garnishing your wages if you don't pay that. Bro, debt is scary. And look, I'm like $600 in credit card debt, and I'm in shambles.
Comment down below with what you think, what you heard, what you know about this situation. I tell you, credit card debt as a young person, because it's at a very high rate of interest, 28, 29%, 25%. How did they get these high limits? Like how? Like when I went to college, nobody ever offered me a high limit credit card. I mean, I went on a scholarship, played baseball. You know, I got the Bright Future Scholarship, which was state of Florida. That if you made a 3.0 in high school, you got this, you know, scholarship. But I was never offered a high-end credit card. I was 28 years old and got rejected. No, I was 26, got rejected by USAA for a credit card, and I was in the Army and they knew how much money I made. Like, I don't understand, and it was for a very small limit, and I don't understand how like these kids get these high limits. Comment down below if you know.
Hey, I'm Morgan and I'm $80,000 in debt, and that doesn't include my mortgage or my car. Did this happen? Well, down payments and closing costs for 3 different moves while I was trying to figure out where I wanted to live. Doing repairs at all those houses, like room additions, new floors, carpets, fixing a septic system, fences at all those houses, moving expenses, crats each time. I wanted a swing set for my son, and car repairs, water treatment systems, horse vet bills, heating and AC fixes. Just 3 years of impulsive, unnecessary.
Word to the wise of somebody who grew up with horses: if you don't have a good network, don't get horses. They're a black hole of money. You can't eat them. They really do nothing but just produce medical bills. They will find a way to get hurt. If you're $80,000 in debt, don't get a horse.
Purchasing, just constantly online browsing, and then turning that into maxed out credit cards. I'm facing an $80,000 mountain of debt. It's definitely embarrassing. It's overwhelming. I'm ready to tackle this and reset my life. I find other videos like this quite relatable. I wanted to kind of create this community as well, so follow along.
These student loans, like the calls, are really making me regret ever going to college, considering I'm not even doing anything in my degree. But like, these calls are just a reminder that I'm like, first of all, doing nothing with my life. Second of all, broke as shit. And yes, I hee ha ha about it here, but like, it's literally not a joke. It's like embarrassing, and it's like the most stressful thing. And I never want to be the person that's like driven by money. Like, that's not me. But like, sometimes I wish I was, so I wouldn't be in the position I am in. And like, dealing with these calls and having to basically say my situation, like, I literally cannot pay off an amount on these damn student loans. And then the fact that they're so relentless. They call every person in my family. They call people not related to me, but like associated with me. And I don't even know how it's just crazy. And it's like, I hate it. It's like, you're coming at me for my own little debt when this country's in debt. Like, it's so frustrating.
So the federal government, politicians, everybody, the debtors, they got together and they figured out a way to secure a loan with your labor. And that's what a student loan is. Non-bankruptable student loan. And they said, normally a debt secured by a piece of property, unsecured debt, credit card, student loans secured by your labor, your butt, okay? You can't bankrupt it. They can garnish your wages. They can take your Social Security. There's no running away from it. And many people say, oh, I'll die with it. I'll never pay it off. Well, your life's going to be really terrible when you go to retire and you've got these student loans thrown over the top of you. It's something that I've said is going to cause the world a lot of problems, the United States a lot of problems in the future, because it's one of the largest assets of the U.S. government is your labor and the interest off of it. And the interest on these things is astronomical.
I have $78,327 in student loans. And you want to know how much unpaid interest I accrued in the month of February? $523.93. And this is me paying at least a minimum of $2,000 per month. Started with a little bit over $150-something thousand because I had the bright idea of going to grad school so that I can graduate in a healthcare job to help people, but not get paid enough for the amount of student loans I had to take out. Now, my fault, I went to a private university, but still, it shouldn't be this hard to...
One of the worst mistakes I've seen people make financially is private universities. Here's my rant on this. Private universities usually are not worth it to pay the extra amount of money unless you're getting a massive amount of networking contacts. Harvard, Yale, Georgetown, these big schools, you go there for the network, not for reading the same books, okay? Going to a private institution, unless it's a specialty for something awesome, law school, engineering, business, something like that. One of my really good friends in the Army at the time, she went to a private female school. And that's why she was in the Army, was the amount of debt burden she had to do. It was like $80,000 at the time. That was, 10, 15 years ago? So that's probably like 100-something thousand. Did she get anything out of it? No. She was a good reading and writing person, but her degree was not special. She didn't have any contacts. That's why she was in the Army. It did not catapult her at all. Go to a state school, in-state, go to a junior college, trampoline to a 4-year university, in-state, pay for it with cash, or get a scholarship, or don't go. Go do something else, because you are not going to get the return on that private school.
Pay off student loan. But based on my PT salary alone, there is absolutely no way that I could pay this much with just that salary alone and live a breathable, decent life. Make it make sense.
Hey y'all, it's Pretty Girl Sophie. I want to tell you guys, as a 19-year-old with $45,000 in debts alone, y'all, please don't get a finance car, literally, y'all. I have a Jeep, 2021 Jeep. I bought back in 2023. I financed that shit for $46,000, right? I'm like, I really want, this is my dream car. Yeah, don't get on me talking about, oh, Jeep is your dream car. Yes, at the time I was 18. It was my dream car, like most definitely. But now I can't get rid of this car. Literally, I'm stuck with this car, y'all. Like, I'm in so much debt right now, y'all. Like, most of my paycheck is going towards this car. Half of it is going towards this car, y'all. I'm literally struggling so bad, and I wanted to document my journey on how I'm going to get rid of it. I've been doing DoorDash to, like, pay off, you know, sometimes, 'cause, like, honestly, me working is not going to cover it up. And before y'all be like, oh, why is your hair done? Why is your eyelashes done and shit? With my DoorDash money I earn. Just because you're broke doesn't mean you can feel broke. Like, I just want to, like, feel like myself. You know what I'm saying? But my car, right? My car note is literally, guys, I cannot stress enough. It's $978 a month. Plus warranty. That's $154. So, calculate that. I'm paying $1,200 something alone on this car, y'all. Like, I'm struggling, but nobody knows I'm struggling because I was ashamed of it. Like, now it's like, I don't really care what people think. Like, y'all gonna care. Y'all gonna, it is what it is. I know y'all like, bitch, why would you do that? Y'all, I lived and I learned.
Payments are one of the main ways to stay poor, whether it's credit card payment, car payments. Some of these car payments are more than a mortgage. You throw maintenance on top of it, taxes, insurance, random stuff. This is what's keeping young people poor. If you're a young person, don't do a car payment. Save your money, find a way, whether it's getting an old beater car that you can work on, or figuring out a way to work where you live, something. You've got to figure out another way, because these $1,000 a month car payments is not the way. And now I will say this, what she did say about feeling good, one of the best money tricks I ever knew was I would take a few $100s out and put it in my pocket, cash in my pocket. And as an entrepreneur, your mind has gotta constantly be thinking about how to make the next dollar, how to make a dollar, because if you don't make a dollar, you're out of business. So I would take the $100 bills, put it in my pocket, and every time I stuck my hand in my pocket, I'd feel that $100 bill. Kept me thinking, kept me moving, kept me feeling good. I knew I had money in my pocket to go eat. I knew I had money in my pocket. And then I would wear a suit. I wore a suit every day for 30 days. My income tripled. You may think that's crazy, but I think it's the law of vibration, however you want to put it. It made me feel good, and that I could, and therefore I did. And that, I get what she's saying there, that she's got to feel good to look good to be good. But the car payment is not it. You can do that a lot of ways, but the car payment is just something that's going to eat you up.
Do you guys want to know how much credit card debt I'm in, just for fun? $400. It's not a flex. I'm trying to figure out how the people on my For You page that are like 25 are in $90,000 in credit card debt, and they're making their little come on this journey of paying off all this credit card debt. No, run it back to the beginning, girl. I want to know who approved you for that many. How do you have such high limits? I'm trying to get like that. I don't want to pay for anything out of pocket anymore in this economy. No, I get treated like I have a 490. Like somebody hit the little toggle to shadow ban me from all the credit bureaus. I talked to a financial advisor last year. I said, what's wrong? She said, I don't know. You should be getting approved. I don't know. How do I go into debt? I'll take you on that journey. Just somebody give me a chance.
So many of these credit card companies, I feel, fall in the predatory category. They know they can give a large line of credit to some of these young people, and they know they're going to destroy themselves with it. They're going to get caught in that wheel of 20% on $500 for the rest of their life, because they know a large portion of people that ever take out a credit card do not pay it off. I think it's like 80-something% of people have a rolling line on their credit card. And now we're starting to actually see credit card companies get rid of people that are debt cycling, that are paying it off every month, because they want you to roll into that interest on the money every month. Like, this is a real thing. But it is wild that they'll give $15,000 or $20,000 credit limits to these young college students. And then they start living off of it, they start partying off of it, they start traveling on it, and before they know it, they will never escape it. I've done video after video after video on this channel about people's massive amounts of debt, and this is how it starts. Politicians, look into this. And everybody will say, yeah, they're adults. Well, some of these kids don't have any guidance. I had no guidance. I am so lucky I didn't fall into it. I just didn't have any money. I didn't know what it was like to have money, so I just never thought about money.
22 years old, and I have about $100,000 worth of debt to my name. About $52,000 is towards my car loan, while $24,000 is towards my credit cards, and about $8,000 is towards my student loan. Regarding my credit card debt, I chose debt settlement, so my balance used to be like $40,000, and they took away all interest charges, and now it's only like $24,000. So I am actively trying to avoid bankruptcy right now. I don't want to file for bankruptcy at 22 years old. I know a lot of people are advising me to do this, but I just don't think that's smart if I can actually.
Comment down below if you know of a young person under 25 that's filed for bankruptcy. What are we talking about here? Young people filing for bankruptcy? First of all, you can pay that amount off. I doubt the judge will let you discharge that. But, I mean, you don't always get this stuff discharged. I'm not a lawyer. But I did a video on bankruptcy, credit cards, and that judge is going to watch this stuff and he's going to be like, no, not letting you discharge it. But even thinking about bankruptcy under 25, what has the economy done to these people? This is a terrible situation. My heart goes out to all these people, whether it's lack of guidance or it's a system that's built against us. And if you don't traffic it right, it's going to eat you up. And that's what we're seeing.
Pay it off. Debt settlement was the best option for me for several reasons. One being it's more private. It isn't on your record the way bankruptcy is. Debt settlement does negatively affect your credit score, but it is usually less severe, and the time span of it affecting your score is much shorter than bankruptcy. Debt settlement can also reduce the amount you owe, while with bankruptcy you might have to give up some of your assets like your car and like your jewelry. I think that if you have a larger debt balance than I do, then yeah, bankruptcy might be the right route for you, but in my case, I am able to afford my debt settlement payments. I also feel like with the debt settlement route, you are open to future business loans or future car loans, while with a bankruptcy on your report, you're very unlikely to be open to those things.
Brutal situation. Comment down below if you got anything that we can learn from, if you've been through this. Comment down below if you've been in this situation, if there's something that we're missing here. But one, yeah, I get what you're saying, that maybe in the future it's gonna be, you don't need any more debt. Okay, if you've been spanked this bad by debt, in my opinion, don't touch debt ever again. You can live without debt. Okay, I did it. You can. And the more money you get, the less you need debt. Don't think that you always have to have a car payment. You always have to have a house payment. No, you don't. You don't. It's okay to rent. It's also okay to save up your money and buy a house one day, or with your spouse or whoever it is that you're living with. That's a whole nother subject, but you can not have debt. You can not have credit cards. Trust me, life is a lot easier when you're not a slave to the lender. Just like I said, the debtor is going to own you, and that is what is going on here. She will never be able to be approved for many things with that debt or a bankruptcy over the top of her.
This is how much debt I have as a 27-year-old living in San Diego. And so let's go over my biggest balance right now, which are my student loans. I owe $36,990.29. And this is everything that I have. But next one is my personal loan, SoFi Bank. I owe $5,838 on my personal loan. Next one is my car. So my car, I owe $3,000 on it. It's so close to being paid off. All right. And so lastly, in credit cards, I have 3 credit cards that I have a balance on. It's $13,087. So this is what I am pretty much focusing on for 2025. Okay, so I owe $58,919.29 is my total debt that I owe. And I'm not gonna lie, yes, I'm not proud of that, but I definitely am pretty much going to be planning to pay off most of my consumer debt next year. So I am going to pretty much hone down and eliminate about like half of that with the consumer debt. And then the other half is my student loans. So I am not necessarily going to worry about the student loans yet, but the plan is to pay off the consumer debt for 2025. So I'm excited about that. So we'll see.
The consumer debt is something that we as society think we need so many things. We're marketed to 24/7. We think we got to have all these things, put it on a credit card, 25%, never pay them off. We get a car, we have these student loans. That's why we can never gain wealth, and that's why so much of America has no savings. Is our greatest wealth generator is our income, and we give it to somebody else. There's a reason why bankers have big buildings, and they have baseball stadiums, football stadiums.
I'm 23 years old, and I'm in $246,000 worth of debt. Let's talk about it. The vast majority of that debt comes from my home loan. I closed on my home right after my 21st birthday, so I haven't paid down very much of that yet. I also have student loans, a car loan, and then I have one credit card, and I have my timeshare. Before anyone says anything about it, I know the timeshare was a bad idea. I can't get out of it now until it's paid off. But I am working on getting all my debt paid off. So if you want to see that journey, come along with me. I work several side hustles. I have a full-time job, and then I also work, I Instacart. I am a travel agent, and I work at a gas station. All of that to try to get my debt paid down. My goal for this year is to pay off my remaining credit card. That card has about $3,800 left on it. If I continue at my current pace, I'll have it paid down by the end of the summer. So feel free to join.
Seems like she's a hustler. Seems like she's got a lot of things going. I like how she's got all these extra things to do to throw on top of it. You know, one of the greatest things Samantha ever did financially is, but she bought her house for like $100,000 even, and I think 5 years later she sold it for $160,000, and she was able to pay off her student loans. And hopefully she can do something like that. Use those side hustles to get rid of the consumer debt. Don't do it anymore. And I have an emergency fund, and then just start paying that house. Because when you can take that house under the tax code now, if you lived there 2 of the last 5 years, it's hashtag not a CPA, you can take that tax-free when you sell it and throw it against those student loans. Congratulations, you're done. And that's a great idea. And that's what I would do, but I'm living in the house that I plan to live in. And I had 5 houses, and I hopscotched my way, because I had saved all that money, into rolling them into, you know, other investments, and I paid off my house. You know, like I've never had any of these debts because I, like I said, lived off less than I made, and I never did debt, and I didn't give my money away to bankers. My financial story is on this channel. Talked about it at length. It is possible. And I never made a ton of money other than here on YouTube.
Did my May expenses because I got paid today, and I realized that I have officially hit $30,000 in credit card debt, and that is insane and unacceptable. And so I did a deep dive to find out how I actually got worse and worse into debt when this is something I've been focusing on for 6 months. Before you come for me, this comes from a completely separate bank account. I had no idea. Like, I would tell myself, okay, I'm not going to spend, and then very easily fall back into a poor spending habit. Whatever I want, I buy it. I also make money on TikTok Shop, and so I was rationalizing in my head every time I wanted something on TikTok Shop that I could sell it on here. I make about $1,000 a month on TikTok Shop, and I'm spending about $1,000 a month on TikTok Shop, which is insane. I also buy from boutiques, and I drop $100 here and there and here and there without thought. June is going to be a no spend month for me, and I'm really excited to see how hard it is. But
these no spend months, years, like, I think they're great ideas. It's totally doable. You don't have to spend all this money. Somebody like her does not need a credit card. If you're in a situation where you know you have an impulse buy problem, do not have a credit card. Cut it up, throw it away. Don't ever do another one. Use a debit card. Even that I would probably cut up, because unless you absolutely have to, you'll just swipe again. And if there's money back in it, then you'll just keep spending it. The idea is to make it hard to spend. You know, keep some money in your pocket, some cash, only use cash. Way it kind of hurts to get rid of it. It's the best thing I've known to do if I had a spend problem. But I would not even be able to sleep at night if I had $30,000 in credit card debt. Because think about it. In order to pay your $30,000 down, you're going to have to make $60,000, because you got taxes and you got all these things to pay the $30,000 off, okay? Because after taxes, you're paying it off. A lot more money than you actually think when the money you spent was post-tax. I don't know. Comment down below. What do you think about that?
How do some of y'all have $27,000 in credit card debt? I just want to know.
Years ago, I was in $60,000 of credit card debt, so I'll tell you exactly how that happened because I also never thought that I would get there, and it really does happen kind of fast. So the number one factor for me was the fact that I had so much anxiety and shame around money that I would actively avoid my finances. Like, I couldn't even look at my bank account, let alone sit down and make a budget. So all this in money advice and how to get yourself out of debt and whatever was kind of irrelevant to me because if I couldn't even get myself to the computer to like open my bank account, I couldn't do the rest of it. And because I didn't have a budget and was avoiding my finances, it was really easy for me to not know how much I was spending month to month on like subscriptions and various expenses that you accumulate over time. Plus, this was like the worst mental health period of my life. So my ADHD was rearing its ugly head and I was impulse spending. I also just had a very nihilistic attitude of like, it doesn't even matter, whatever, I'll just deal with it later. But the thing that you don't realize when you first start getting into credit card debt is how quickly the interest compounds over time. And this is how you can go from having like $8,000 in credit card debt to $27,000 or $60,000 or whatever it is, because all of your cash is now going to two things. It's going to rent, maybe a few different utilities payments that you can't put on a credit card. It's going to your minimums, right? And your minimums on your credit cards are growing every single month, even if you don't put a single new charge on that credit card. When all of your cash is going to your credit card minimums or even paying off a little bit more than your minimums to try to like get ahead, you're still having to put a lot of your purchases on credit cards because you're out of cash. So that combined with the money avoidance to me was this perfect storm of like, I just didn't know how quickly debt would accumulate once it started. Like once the ball started rolling, it gets away from you really fast. So the question is not how does someone end up with that much debt? The question is like, what are the patterns that got you into debt in the first place and that are keeping you from dealing with the debt? Because those are going to be the same patterns that turn this into like a wildfire that spreads really quickly. I actually have a step-by-step process for dealing with...
You know, I think one of the greatest things that ever really happened to me, and it was by accident really, was not really owning much until I was about 30 years old. I went to college, I went in the Army. Samantha even laughs first time she met me. I had my box springs and mattress on the floor, right? And it took me a while to even buy a bed because I was on the move so much. I had 2 duffel bags. Really, I had 3. I had 2 with my Army stuff in it and 1 with my clothes. That took me a while to actually fly back home. Every time I'd fly home, I'd bring back a little extra clothes. And I can't remember if in the Army, if you were active duty, they would let you check a free bag on the airlines. I think that was the way it was. And so I would bring an extra duffel bag in my backpack. When I went home, I'd fill the duffel bag up, I'd fly back, and I'd put my clothes down. So I had 3 duffel bags full of clothes, and most of them I would never even use. You know, a few pairs of shoes. I had the bare minimum stuff in an apartment. I didn't even have an apartment until I was in the Army, maybe a year and a half. I had an apartment, but nothing in it. I think I had a blow up mattress. And then slowly I started accumulating stuff. And then when I deployed, I put it all in a storage shed and a storage unit, which I should have, knowing now, thrown it all away and bought it back when I came back, you know, after the deployment, because it was all those months of paying for storage fees. I could have just bought new clothes. Didn't even really think about that. I didn't really own anything but the clothes on my back, a little bit of silverware, some plates, a TV that I bought for like $200. And that was really it. I had roommates until I was 30, and I saved every dime I possibly could because I didn't need any of this stuff. And then fast forward, I had money. I just didn't spend money on stuff. You know, like I didn't buy a fancy car. I didn't buy a new car until I was back from Iraq. I was almost 30, probably late 20s. Bought a new truck cash. Still got it. I'm 40, still got that same truck. But I just didn't spend money. I had it in the bank. I had it saving. I had it in the stock market. I had it doing these things, and I just kept saving 80, 90% of my income. Yes, you can do that. And that was one of the pivotal points of me having a good financial trampoline. It was a good emergency base, emergency fund, savings, and not spending money on stupid stuff. You can as a young person live out of a duffel bag, a laptop for some entertainment, some headphones, and some roommates, and you can do it. You got to know yourself. You got to take inventory of yourself. I don't think credit cards are something you just don't do. For some people, they're things you should just don't do. And you got to know yourself. And if you know you have a discipline problem for finance, then take that element out and say, I just don't do that. That's a rule that I'll do. Like, I don't play video games. I'm a compulsive person. I don't play video games. I don't gamble. Like, these are known things for me. Credit cards are one of those things that can get you in trouble really fast. And sometimes they're just not worth it. Or you keep one for an emergency purpose locked away in a safe, and you've got to use it. You got to use it. You just got to know yourself. Like my wife, she's not really in tune with her financial situation. Like she will not do anything I tell her to do. and I got her out of debt, and I try to keep her out of debt, and she knows. She just has her little debit card, she does her little banking. That's it. That's all she does. And she knows that that's her wheelhouse. I'm not going to do all these things, and I'm going to ask Jack if I have a question. And that's her wheelhouse. I'm not saying that's what I think you should know everything you possibly know. You should educate yourself. You should do all these things, but know thyself. But that's all I got. Comment down below. Am I right, wrong, up, down, left, right? What are your thoughts? Do you have something you can share? Because there might be a young person in the comment section that can learn from you, or another person in general that could learn from something you said, and we can all learn, have some discourse. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I don't know what it'll be. These are kind of fun to do. Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment down below. And if you are looking for a real estate agent on the Gulf Coast of Florida, Alabama, I'd be happy to help you. My email is down below. Or if you're looking for a real estate agent anywhere in the country, I can help you find one. I'll see you guys in the next video.